No matter how great your game is, people will not play it if it's a pain-to approach, learn, and play. That's why good user interface and user experience (UX) design is so important in today's crowded game market. And at the 2019 Game Developers Conference in March, you will have access to a smorgasbord of expert talks aimed at helping you create more approachable, more enjoyable games. Most notably, GDC 2019 GameX Summit is packed with expert sessions on the fundamentals of a strategy, as well as best practices to improve overall quality and increase the likelihood that your game will create and sustain engagement. The recent and popular addition to GDC Summit is the place to be if you want to learn about all facets of the user experience discipline in the video game industry using knowledge from cognitive science, psychology, and application of research findings. Plus, as part of the Board Game Design Day, game dev veteran and DX is founder Jason Schlar will be presenting a talk on designing great UX into your game board and pieces that promises practical UX advice for both board game and video game designers. Schlar has been running a board game UX exercise with various groups of video game developers as a way of thinking about how board and pieces design influences the learnability of a board game. Specifically, it has participants figure out how to play board games without reading the instructions rulebook. In this talk, Jason will present a summary of findings during the sessions, including sessions with kids at his local elementary school board game club, and some tips for making games easier and more fun to learn. You should also check out Building a Unified Cross Project to a Framework from Cyber Games, Subway Surfers, UX designer Natalia Rabrova, because Cyber had to solve a real problem as it grew. Multiple teams working on different projects with different UX strategies. To prevent player confusion and avert disaster, Cyber had to figure out how to build a unified, cross-platform UI that would not throw players for a loop. In this talk, Rabrova will walk you through the process of building and supporting such a cross-project to a framework in Unity, and practical considerations of how to decrease time spent on UI development and implementation using an atomic design approach. This session will also show you how to get the most out of reusable skin templates while building and sharing a company-specific library of UI patterns and components. And in areas found in the universe, new frontiers for audio UX. Magic Leap technical sound designer Brad Shipes will explore the role of audio within broader user experience UX, pulling from real-world examples from many platforms, operating systems, and applications. This talk tracks the evolution of how sound relays information and feedback to users. Notably, Shipes aims to explore the current ecosystem of no media via amidst devices to see how audio feedback is being utilized for new paradigms of UX design and natural user interfaces. The session ends with a look into possible futures of UX design, one where audio is disregarded as easy, and another where audio is boldly integrated as a core feature from the start. You will also want to check out lessons from Duolingo, How to Make Learning Hard Things Easy, presented by DUOLINGOSCNIO Engineering Manager Care Insight. You might wonder how a language learning app could influence your game design, but consider this. Duolingo, one of the world's most popular platforms for learning languages, in part because it seems to make very challenging tasks appear approachable. In this talk, I will show you how Duolingo created an experience that caters to all sorts of learners while keeping retention numbers up and improving learning outcomes. Attendees will get a crash course covering Duolingo's 6 years of lessons learned on its way to becoming the world's most popular education app, and should hopefully walk away with practical learnings to apply in their own work. Finally, do not miss, mind your tone, creating a CX content strategy for talking to real people. From Sony Interactive Entertainment's Russ McLaughlin, the way you talk to your players is key to making your games approachable and enjoyable. So you might get a lot of mileage from the lessons Sony have learned about speaking to players. PlayStation has worked to evolve its VE content strategy over the last 5 years, moving away from the tech writing style of the PlayStation 3 era to a smarter, friendlier approach that drives engagement by speaking directly to what players want, and even redirects their behavior in ways they agree with. In this talk, senior writer and content strategist Russ McLaughlin takes you through the origin and philosophy behind PlayStation's brand-based tone of voice, the metrics that demonstrate its success, and the processes necessary to making it work. Further details on these talks and many more are available now on GDC 2019 session scheduler. There you can begin to lay out your GDC 2019, which takes place March 18th through the 22nd at the newly renovated Moscone Center in San Francisco. Bring your team to GD, register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019, visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, OS. Gamasutra and GD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Is the game that you're working on got that general body feeling? Are you waiting for that polish period towards the end of major milestone? How did it get like this? And what is the general standard of your product on a day-to-day basis? Here are 5 signs that you are suffering from general quality fatigue, and some thoughts on remedies. Look around your team and ask yourself if there is anyone who embraces quality in the product's output beyond the minimal quality required for releasing. Individuals might take the quality of their own work seriously, but is there anyone looking at the big picture? This person may or may not be from the QA team, but a quality advocate will help with the prevention of issues and highlight risks a lot earlier in development. In the absence of such an individual, quality is seen as thing to be done in isolation, in advance of deadlines, and latent unknown issues can cripple a product before it gets out the door. So you have QA representation and a thinking job done on the quality front. What is your dev QA ratio? There is not a correct answer for that, as each product company is unique. I tend to say for 1, but if your development throughput does not match the QA capacity to process, either you are comprising your product quality and starting to acquire QA debt. This is not about moving jobs across a Scrum board and completing sprints. This is about the time and attention that both developers and QA can invest in the testing process. Have a think about that kind of issues you are looking to unearth and prevent. If you expect the product to stand up to some serious destructive testing, then make sure the QA team has the capacity to perform these tasks. You have got a QA team with a decent dev QA ratio, but how do your sprints typically end? Are you always reaching the ending across the board, or do you have a culture of assuming things are complete when work is actually marked as in test? Presuming quality is a flawed approach and is only exposed when stakeholders attempt to interact with a complete task. find a problem and raise it. It's not worth rolling the dice but equaling. This approach also puts your QA team on the back foot, as there is inherent pressure to sign off, and there is greater resistance to fix any of those non-functionality issues. This normally results in testing being downgraded to tracking, and in the long term this contributes to a non-polished and awkward user experience of the product. Your team has the time it needs to test, but how does your quality advocates keep up with the ever-changing landscape of game development? Investing in tooling is a huge factor in the smooth delivery of a product and is often a multidisciplined approach. When it comes to QA-specific development tasks, do you find yourself asking the QA team to make its own tools,